Well, I am here in Ipswich where the Bremer River has peaked and is now starting to recede, which is great news. But for what's happening right across the town and how residents are feeling, well, I want to introduce the Mayor Teresa Harding. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for being here and letting people know what's happened overnight in Ipswich.
So can you tell us what has happened? What's the situation with the river levels?
Yeah, we can see that the flood certainly was went over the riverbanks and peaked at about 10.97 metres. And I think to be a major flood, it's 11.7. But you can see that there is inundations in Bundamba, North Burvale, and certainly here in the CBD.
How many residents have been affected by this? Because we know that Watch and Act alert and door knocking went out really early yesterday. How many had to move and you know, they were preparing, but how many did go? Yeah,
look, we'll probably have to wait for the waters to recede to understand exactly. We had estimates yesterday be about 30 homes, which is 30 families. And we do know that last night there were 24 people at our evacuation centre, with most people staying with family and friends. So look, we'll wait for the waters to recede and we'll do a full damage assessment and work with our community.
Can you give us a sense of how the community was feeling in anticipation of this? Because we know it was such a long event and a long build-up. And then I think, despite the warning, some people were still a bit surprised at what happened as a consequence.
It was a very different weather event, ex-tropical Cyclone Alfred. We were certainly prepared for 8 days for something to happen, and then we had a very short notice that Alfred changed and we had that very heavy rainfall on Sunday night, Monday morning. So we basically had about a 24-hour period to really communicate with people. Fortunately, those low-lying areas had been door-knocked. About 601 homes had been door-knocked on the Thursday last week, and then they were door-knocked again, yesterday as well. So look, we're hoping that everyone got to safety, and that's certainly the indication so far.
Did you breathe a sigh of relief this morning?
Yes, it felt like we dodged a bullet. I know there'll be still families whose homes are flooded, and there'll be businesses flooded, and we'll work through that, and as a community we'll work through that. But yes, it could have been much, much worse.
So what happens now? What are the steps the council now takes to communicate to everyone and to make those assessments? Yeah,
really important that we give timely information, so it's great to chat with the ABC because so many people watch and listen to the ABC. We are maintaining all our most up-to-date information on our Facebook page and also the Ipswich Disaster Dashboard. So for anyone who wants to know exactly what's happening, you can go on there for those live feeds from the Bowman, from TMR and the power outages, as well as we have 16 flood cameras around our city. So you'll be able to see those strategic points in our city that flood at those bridges and roads, so you can see exactly what things are like for you in your situation. I know there is a strong push that if you're not impacted, send your kids to school, go to work, and things like that. I think it's really important that people get back to life normal life as soon as possible.
We do have a number of roads, though, that have been affected by the floodwaters, don't we, here?
Yeah, we've got over 80 roads that are closed. So, again, that information is there for residents to see, and then they can make those decisions on what they're going to do today.
In terms of the assessment and then the recovery efforts, so if homes and businesses have been affected, obviously there'll be support for them. But what about the wider community? Because something like this can still take a toll, can't it, even if you're not directly affected by this?
It's emotionally devastating if anyone who's been through a flood. And even last night I was at the evacuation centre and chatted to some people that I hadn't chatted to since they were in the evacuation centre in 2022. So they talked about the anxiety levels. They said that their homes weren't meant to be flooded and they didn't think they were going to flood, but their anxiety levels were so high that they thought they'd come in and not be on their own. So it does have that toll, especially with kids as well. Kids are quite perceptive, so it's just really important to have those conversations in families.
What would be your advice to those people who are still struggling and, whether they've been directly or indirectly affected by this? What would you say to them?
Look, you're not alone. You're not alone. And I'm so sorry that you've had to go through this. It is very traumatic. So, talk to your family and friends. We'll have, the evacuation centre and places of refuge for people to come into. And if you want to pop in and just have a chat and a cup of tea, we'd love to see you.